What up? Geeky Fight MMA here. And boy, oh boy, this event is gotta be, well, this fight in particular, Yan versus Sterling, man. Oh man. Like the ending there was just like, what the fuck? I believe that Yan was like, I don't know. I believe that Sterling could have continue on, but he just chose not to. He was getting his butt whipped, and he played acting there, and yeah. Today I saw his on the MMA news feeds that he was taking pictures of Rob. He had a party celebrating his championship, and now he has the tenacity to call out Henry Cejudo and ignore the Petr Yan fight. Like, what the hell, man? This guy, man, like, oh man, that team, like, I was like the biggest Chris Weidman fan back in the day, and he was a legit badass grappler when he was in his prime before he got his jaw destroyed by Luke Rocco and Yel Romero. But before that, man, he was a badass. But getting off topic, that team, like, I think Aljo's a badass fighter, but clearly, as far as skill sets go, he's a pretty badass motherfucker, but clearly he's who's the more bad motherfucker here. And yeah, Yan is the more skilled guy. And now let's go by rounds. Round one, I was just like, there I was with like a group of people, my buddies. A lot of them don't really follow MMA as much, so they were asking questions about both guys, and I was saying Yan's the striker, he's the better, more powerful guy, the stronger guy. Aljo's the grappler. And then round one, I was legitimately scared. I was like, oh shit, because I was betting on Yan, and he was getting lit to pieces. And man, Aljo was landing, and Yan wasn't doing anything. I was like, holy crap. I was legitimately scared, and then boom, Yan lands that right hand, or that straight. I don't know if it was a right or left, because he does switch his stance too. But yeah, he drops Sterling. He goes after Sterling. And then, from there on, he took the round, in my opinion. He damaged Sterling. Sterling landed the more strikes, but then Yan found his timing, and he let loose, and bam, he fucks. I think he stole that round from Sterling with the damage. And then, Sterling landed some significant strikes too, had Yan cover up. And let's say this, Yan is the best traditional high guard fighter in MMA. He has the best high guard in all of MMA, I have to say. Like, he was just fighting there with the high guard, and usually at the top level, if that's like the only thing like many guys who this is all they know, how many do you see that at the top level? Not many. And like, as far as like just taking punches, and he looked like he cannot do anything. But man, that guy is the best high guard in MMA. Aljo's throwing, and he was just letting Aljo's throw punches at him. Like, after round two, I think Yan was just purposely letting them unload on him. Like Yan, I believe. Sorry, I don't know if the audio is great here because let me move the computer closer. Yeah, boy, even with the high guard, he's able to, defend takedowns like nothing. Like a lot of strikers, they don't go the high guard often because they believe that their striking is good enough, so they don't need to protect themselves from the other guy. And they keep the hands a little low, so it makes it easier to defend takedowns. But not Yan. He goes high guard, and he can still defend takedowns just as good, if not better. And best high guard in the game. But speaking of going to round two, Yan landed the better strikes, but he was kind of penned up against the cage most of the time of the round. I gave that round to Sterling. I haven't rewatched it, but watching it live, I gave it to Sterling. And after round two, man, so beginning of round two, Sterling starts going with high volume on the strikes. And I can't remember what happened between or whatnot, but it got to the Sterling got to the clinch and held Yan up against the cage for most of that round. Couldn't get any. I think he might have gotten one successful takedown. I don't know if that's round one or round two, but Yan got back up immediately, and he just held Yan there for the rest of the round, and then before the round ends, Yan breaks free and starts landing some clean shots too. That round I gave it to watching it live. I gave it to Sterling, but round three starts and Yan starts unloading on Sterling's, starts taking him down with any effortlessly. And that might be a part due to Sterling's confidence and his jiu-jitsu off his back, so he was not resisting the takedown at all. But any takedown Yan did, he did some of the beat stuff where it was effortlessly, and he just pushed Sterling's around, started unloading bobs on Sterling, and man, Sterling has a freaking chin. He got knocked out from Marlon, okay, but man, he took all these shots, and Yan starts unloading, starts landing combinations, and Sterling looked gassed out, slow, and from that moment on for round three, what was going on in my mind, I was like, and I don't know if you guys watched the, who started watching this video. If you guys watch, this show anime called Baki the Grappler, and there's this character in Baki where, a lot of his fights, he's kind of slow, but he has really good timing and is very strong and powerful. And a lot of his fights in that show, he just blocks, and he just takes punches, and blocks, takes punches, and then he'll land that big punch on you. And obviously, Yan is not slow, but that's what he was kind of doing. He was just letting them hit him, and it was working. He has really good blocking, and whenever he gets hit, he doesn't get it clean. Even Sterling landed some knees on him, and some kicks, and none of them were super clean. Landed, it went through the guard, but this is a game of inches, and a few inches could be the difference between this doesn't hurt and I got knocked the fuck out. And even if he got hit, he's defensively good enough to where when he got hit, it didn't hurt him, didn't rock him. And he might fight differently based on the opponent, But he did the same thing in Otto. I felt like, like he's just standing there covering up, letting Otto throw it, unload, gassing Otto out, and then going after Otto. And he did the same thing to Sterling. Just let Sterling unload, block. Gave up round 2, I felt like, just to make Sterling more exhausted. And then he started going after Sterling, and yeah, he started laying Sterling up. And then he gets to round 4. Same thing as round 3. Starts going after Sterling, landing bombs. And then Sterling got in that position and he threw the knee. Like, and this is my opinion on that knee. Like, just make that shit legal in all states or make it illegal in all states. I don't know where they're fighting, but that knee was like, there's some states where like it's legal to throw a knee if their opponent has one, like, was it if his knee is not on the ground and his hands aren't touching the ground, he could throw, like, I don't know, it's confusing as hell, but like the Chris Weidman happened to Chris Weidman too, but except in that case it was legal. Like Chris Weidman versus Masasi, another teammate of Aljamain. Masasi, so that fight, I can't remember if one of Chris Weidman's knee was off the ground and his hands was touching the ground, and Masasi lifted him up and his hands was not on the ground as that knee landed. And like as that knee landed, Chris Weidman's hands were like an inch off the ground, and that was legal. So I don't know. I'm not 100% sure what happened. That it's a while back, but in this case, I believe, man, I think I had to rewatch it, but I think when Yan threw that knee at Sterling, Sterling's hands was off the ground, but his both his knees was still on the ground. So I can't remember if both your knees are up but your hands are touching the ground, you could be knee. I can't remember what the exact rule is. It was a little bit different than the Weidman case, but it was similar. And it was deemed illegal. And here's the thing too, like, oh man, like the whole language barrier, they should just ban that rule until all states, all athletic commissions say yes to it. Because like it gets confusing. Some states like they allow it and some states don't. And then confusing shit like this happens, especially when one fighter does not have a clear understanding of English. Like, you think that Yan was... You think that Yan understood what the referee was saying? Like, maybe when he's not fight mode, but when you're in fight mode, like, your brain starts to think differently too. He did not understand what the heck the referee was saying at that moment. The whole thing with Habib saying that his teammates say yes. Fucking my connection is unstable. Please try again later. Oh, great. What the hell? The whole thing with... Okay, I don't know if this part's going to show up or not. So, yeah. But the whole... Okay, so I think I'm reconnected. So, yeah, this part is... It's weird. But, yeah, I left off at the whole thing could be saying that once cornerman said do it. We don't know that for sure, but all we know is that he threw that knee, he shouldn't have, and there's a language barrier. Maybe the cornerman was confused as to the rule when the English people were, when the officials was explaining to them. There's probably a miscommunication, not just through the fighter, but through his team as well, because, the language barrier. I think I know they have a translator, but things could get misinterpreted even with a good translator. And yeah, they should just ban that rule, the knee opponent. Like, they should just make it legal in all states or illegal in all states. Because, yeah, confusing stuff like this will happen. Dana White wants to make a rematch. I'm sure there's gonna be a rematch, but man, like, fucking Aljamain Sterling, like, you know, I like the dude. Yan was my favorite fighter at 135. Like, the moment he beat up Ishitara, I was like, oh shit, I like this guy. And I like the skill set, and I've been following the guy ever since. And that moment, like, I've been a fan of him. He's been like one of my favorite guys on that division, and he's been on my radar. And I like Sterling too, but man, like, after this fight, fuck, dude, I lost respect for Sterling. Like, okay, you want to get paid more, you want to get pay-per-view points the next fight because you got the belt, you're the champion now. Okay, whatever. I still lost respect, even if that's the case, but still, like, but then to go on and get pictures posted of you celebrating like you're the champ. You're taking pictures with your teammates saying, oh, this guy's a real champ and new champ and all that. Like, come on, get the fuck out here. That's like the biggest participation point trophy given. Like, dude, like, when I lose my fights and they give me my silver medals and amateur boxing, I'm like, you know what I do with those medals? I fucking throw them away. I keep the gold one. Like, they aren't like real medals. Like that, like in amateur boxing, everybody gets a medal. The winner gets a gold, and the silver gets silver. And this is at the lowest level too. Like, I'm was amateur boxing at the lowest level, and I still got a medal. It's like, fuck that shit. Like, I like, my silver medals, I just toss them whatever. They get thrown up, they get thrown away. Like, we were moving. My wife asked me, and I was like, just toss that medal in the trash. Like, I kept my gold ones, but fucking, yeah, fuck that shit. Like, that's the highest level of participation. That's the highest participation point trophy. And they celebrate as if he's the real champ, as if he was whipping Yan's ass. Like, that fight was not close at all. Like, you want to give him round one? Okay, maybe, but that, like, Yan, most people who saw that fight, I'm pretty sure most of them said Yan stole that round with the knockdown. You want to give him Aljo round two? Okay. But there's nothing dominating in round two. And then round three, round four, it was complete domination. Like, okay, you want to compare the stats? Similar, Aljo landed more strikes, but there was a big difference in power, and it wasn't like he outlanded Yan like 5-1 or whatnot. It was just like total strikes. Aljo landed like, fuck, I forget, but he only landed like 10 or 11 more total strikes than Petr Yan did. At least significant strikes. I don't know, whatever, barely, but there's a huge impact in power. Like, Yan's punches did more damage than Aljo's knees. And yeah, in the rematch, Yan cannot let this get to him too much. He just gotta keep calm. Like, this the rematch could still be competitive because now Aljo gets that adrenaline he got through 3 rounds, 3.5 rounds of Yan. That adrenaline might not play a bigger role as it did in this fight, in the rematch. And, he's just gonna like take his shots. Like, don't unload on Yan. Just attack, move, attack, move. I mean, maybe that's a bad game plan. Maybe, his game plan from the first fight was a good game plan. Maybe he's just gassed himself out. But I think Yan, like, dude, he likes, in a way, he's like a skilled, high-level, skilled black beast where, like, he's the ultimate possum. I say that. I think Yan is the ultimate possum with a lot of skills. He'll just stand in front of you and just let you unload on him. He'll back up like he's hurt. And then, he's just taking those shots, blocking. A shot gets through, it grazes, whatever. And, I think he's also selective with his fighters that he does that to, too. Like, Aljo does not hit that hard. Aljo's not known to be a power puncher, so he just lets Aljo do that. Bam, 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 block. Whatever, it grazed through, it didn't hit clean. I'm just gonna keep letting you unload your gas tank, push the pace, and then I'm gonna catch you later. And as he's doing that, every time a person's doing that, they're trying to time a punch too, like, it's either they're covering up because they are getting lit up and they're like in survival mode, or they're just playing possum. They're just timing your strikes, and the more punch you throw, the more opportunity you get. You give your opponent to counter you. That's just basic rule. Like, the more offensive moves you make, the more potential there is to get counter. And, next fight, I still got to pick Yan. Yan's going to be the favor. But, don't be surprised if next fight is going to be more competitive. So, yeah, I just leave it at this. I try not to make this a long video. Sorry, longer than expected. So, yeah, peace out.